Good morning. Today is Saturday, April 17th. Today I'm here with my first product review. This is something I've been gathering the pieces for a few weeks now. Notebook just fell over, just ignore that. Alright, so the last part finally arrived yesterday, and I have all of them right here. So what I'm doing is comparing the different interchangeable Tunisian crochet hooks from the brands, sort of, Knitter's Pride and Knit Pro. Knitter's Pride and Knit Pro. They're technically the same company. From what I can tell, Knitter's Pride is what they're called in America, while Knit Pro is what they're called overseas. And they have mostly the same products, but there are a few that I could only find in the UK, and some I could only find in the United States. So that's why I had to order them separately. The ones from the UK took, obviously, significantly longer to get here. So, what I've got is from Knitter's Pride, bamboo, ginger. I don't actually know what type of wood the ginger actually is. It doesn't say, it just says ethical wood. I don't know what that means, but yeah, ginger. And Dreamz, which again doesn't say. I'm assuming it's dyed birch because that's what these normally are, but if you bought a full set, each size is a different color. It just happens that I bought all of the hooks in 6.5 millimeter so I could compare them equally, and 6.5 millimeter is like a ugly grayish color. Alright, so from Knit Pro, I actually really like these, but I haven't tried them yet. Trendz, which is an acrylic, and they're translucent, and they look to me kind of like lightsabers, so I like them. Can't find these in the United States, and you also can't find Symphony, which is another kind of like a rainbow dyed birch. It's similar to the stuff KnitPicks has. I thought they might actually have been the same colors, but I don't know whether you can see that. When I do the close-up part, you'll see it better. The Symphony has a lot more green in it, while the only interchangeable hooks that KnitPicks has are more purple and red. So not exactly the same like I thought they would be. Alright, so I'm just going to do all of this part first because it is a little easier for me to not have to change the camera twice, but I did write down all the prices just to make it easier. So for the Trendz, which is the acrylic, the Trendz, that one was $6 to $8 a hook, and I did have to bring them in from the UK, so if you don't get free shipping, it would be a lot more money. And they don't seem to have any actual sets, so you can only buy the individual hooks, which is a little annoying, but that's okay. After that, the bamboo, which you can find in the United States, is really cheap. Individually, they seem to range from $3 to $6 a piece, depending on which seller you go through, and most of them have a free shipping option, so pretty cheap. The sets are more like $40 to $60. They come in a little case. They have the cords with them and a variety of sizes. Like I said, I'm going to be trying out all of these, so I'm not sure yet which ones I'm going to prefer. Normally I don't like bamboo hooks, but I am going to test them out just to make sure. The Dreamz were $5 to $8 a piece, and for a set, $45 to $60, give or take a little bit. And like I said, they are color coded. I will say you don't want to buy these on Amazon because a lot of people had negative reviews about them breaking in transit. I don't think Amazon packages them very well. If you go through Etsy or eBay or any large yarn type seller, like I think yarn.com has them, they will package them much better. Mine came wrapped in a lot of bubble wrap, so I'm not particularly worried about where I ordered them from, breaking them, but don't order them from Amazon. All right, after that we've got the ginger, which originally was the one I thought I was gonna like the best, but I have some reasons for being a little iffy on it. Those were around $9 to $11 a hook from what I saw, and then the set for them is $100 to $120. You might be able to find it on sale cheaper than that, I'm not sure, but they are a nice color. And finally, the Symphony, which I can only find in the UK for some reason. So it's $7 to $11, and these are all US dollars. I did all the conversions already. The set, I only saw one person selling the set that was the interchangeable hooks. There might be more listed later, or it might just have been an off day. It was about $65 for the set. There was, though, other sets made with the same wood that were double-ended Tunisian crochet hooks. So instead of having the metal piece, it just had another hook. And there were sets of those. Those were like $35, I think. I haven't seen any of those from the US sellers. I've only seen them from the UK sellers. So I'm assuming that's something that hasn't been brought over for one reason or another. All right, so I'm going to get these all out of the packaging. I'm going to set up the camera so you can see what I'm doing, and I'm going to do a couple rows of Tunisian crochet with each just to see how they fare. I'm looking to see how smooth they function, how well the what do you call it? The connector, like whether or not they fall off the cord. I've had that issue with other brands. I am looking for how sturdy the hooks feel. Are they going to break if I'm doing a complicated stitch? I'm a little concerned about that with the acrylic one because it is really light, but we'll find out for sure. How well finished the hooks are. Do they have any chips out of them? Are they catching the yarn in some particular area? That one is a surprisingly large issue with hooks, even from really expensive brands. I have a couple hooks from a very nice brand that I didn't realize till I started working with them that they had like little chips in the throat, and they kept catching the yarn every time I did a stitch, and that was horrible. So ideally that won't be a problem, but we are going to test everything out, and I'll let you know what I think. Alright, I got them all on the packaging, got some cotton yarn ready. I did notice a few things while getting them out that I thought were pretty interesting. The first is that on the Radiant hook, let's see if I can make it so you can see that better. There we go. Alright, so it is much prettier in person. On the package, it says only Knit Pro needles offer the unique chevron mark, talking about that part there. The reason I think that's interesting is because this is a KnitPicks Radiant hook, okay? The chevron is just a byproduct of the dyed birch. I've seen a lot of products with that shape. I don't know, it's funny to me. Oh, now I guess I can compare them up close so you can see them. As you can see, the color is completely different. The KnitPicks hook has a flat part here as a thumb rest. The Symphony does not. And the hook head shape is completely different. The KnitPicks hook is a lot more rounded. The Knit Pro hook has a pointy tip and a very pointy, I don't know what to call that part. Going into the, I know this part's the throat, this is the head, tip of the head. Okay, I don't know, I'll have to look it up and see if there's an exact term for what that's called, but it is a lot sharper looking. I will say that the KnitPicks one feels a lot more polished. This one's still polished, it just doesn't have the same feel to it. They're about the same weight though. Alright, so there's that one. The ginger, which as you can see has the grain from the wood on it, which is pretty interesting. It's a lot smoother than I thought it would be, which is good. The only thing is I can't tell if there's like a little chip out of the throat or if it's just the way the grain of the wood makes it look. I'm not actually going to know until I start working with it, I think. I might just be hypersensitive to it because of that issue last week. Alright, so we've got the Trendz, which has the size printed on it. That is definitely going to rub off. I wish they would have just etched it into the metal, but it is the cheapest, other than the bamboo, the cheapest hook here. So I'm not really surprised it has a more budget type finish to it. And it also has that sharper hook head, which is honestly why I wanted to try these. I love the KnitPicks hooks, but they are very rounded. I wanted to see if I could find one with a little bit of a sharper tip to it for getting into stitches better. So this is the bamboo one. It does have a pretty smooth finish, which is surprising for me. Usually bamboo has a sticky feel to it, to me, like it's going to catch the yarn. Now they're saying that the connector is 24 karat gold plated, which I guess is meant to be kind of a luxurious thing, but I'm pretty sure it's going to chip off over time. Also, I'm pretty sure these words are going to rub off. Are any of them etched, actually? Okay, so on the ginger one, it's on the metal, and it's printed on the metal. Okay. Symphony, it's printed on the wood. These are definitely going to rub off. The Dreamz one has kind of a weird thing to it. Now the color is actually much prettier than I've seen it, where it's more of a purpley blue. So that's kind of cool. And it has a pointy chip head, which is nice. Size is printed, as expected. It's going to rub off. But what's this? That is a needle size. Printed, not printed, etched into the connector. Which leaves me with two questions. The first being, if they can etch the size into the connector, why are they only etching it for the needles and not for the crochet hooks? And the second question being, how did a needle connector get on a crochet hook? Because it is true that the US 10.5 is a 6.5 millimeter knitting needle. I use that size a lot. I don't know, it's just interesting. It's kind of a quality control thing, I guess. So we've got the 16-inch cord. I bought a full set of cord sizes to try out. I'm not gonna go through, well, I guess I can try going through the effort of using a little key. I'm not very good at this, so one second. You just twist the stopper on. I don't actually, and then you put the key in. What does the key do? I guess it makes it tighter. I don't know. Alright, got a stopper. Now we can start putting hooks on there and just doing a few rows with each and giving them a try. I guess start with the acrylic one and work our way up from there. Normally you would tighten these on with a little key, but I'm going to be swapping them out every couple rows, so I'm concerned if I did that I'd have trouble getting them back off. Alright, so the join is, there's not really any step there or anything, so that's good. I'm assuming that'll be pretty much the same as you go across the line. Let me just get this started. It is surprisingly difficult to crochet with my arms around a camera. Who knew? I mean, I did know that. I have done this before. Tried this a few times. Did a couple dry runs. Alright. Just get a chain started. I actually kind of like this acrylic one, but I'll show you why in a moment. So, it is pretty light, and this stupid cord sticking off it is driving me crazy. I might just take that off because I'm not doing that many rows to test this, so it's not really necessary. I think it'll all fit on the hook. Okay. It does have a lot of threads, so that will keep it from falling off very easily, so that'll be nice. Alright, so it's very light, but because it is plastic, it's pretty slippery, which I kind of like. And the hook head is very, very sharp, as I had mentioned. And it's really hard not to split the cotton yarn when I can't really see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. That's better. You can't see what I'm doing, but I'm having to like get on my tippy toes in my chair so that I can look above the camera, see what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so sharp head on the crochet hook means I can go into the stitches really easily. It's light, so I don't think it's going to tire out my hands as quickly as a heavier metal hook would. And although I only bought the one size, they are color coded. The different sizes, for the most part, are different colors, although for some reason 6.5mm and 7mm are the same color. I'm not really sure why, but they are. Okay, so just a quick little sample size. Return pass is not particularly difficult for any reason. I will say that the cotton is clinging to the plastic a bit, but with a different yarn I think this would go pretty smoothly. I am still a little concerned that these would break with heavy use though. I tend to have a pretty tight gauge, and if I had a bunch of stitches on there and they're all really tight, I'm concerned that it would just snap. This particular size is pretty thick, but especially the smaller sizes, I'm concerned about that. I am not going to stress test them though, because I don't want to break them. Hey, no, stay. Okay. So not too bad. I will probably end up buying more of these just because they are kind of fun. So, Trendz is done. Let's go with, how about Dreamz next? It's a little heavier, not by much, but a little. And again, it has that really sharp head so I can get under the stitches a little more easily. They're pretty smooth. No particular issues so far, other than me not really caring for the colors on them, which is entirely a personal thing. They're not bad. Just, again, don't buy them from Amazon. Everyone's saying they're arriving broken when they bought them from Amazon. There's a lot of reviews about that. I was originally going to change color each row, but the hooks keep rolling away. So that I'll just keep with the same color. Okay, so the wood is a little clingier than the plastic, which is to be expected. That's just how the material works. So the return pass is a little bit more difficult, but not much, and that's more just because it's cotton. It was the first thing I could find to grab. Wool is more what I use, so it would behave a little differently, but this is the, what is it called? Peaches and cream, sugar and cream. They're basically the same thing. More people have this in their stash, so it's more helpful, I think, to show something that people are actually using. I'm going to stick them all in here so they stop rolling away on me. Okay, let's go with the bamboo hook. And as I said, I normally hate bamboo hooks, but I'm going to give it a shot. It is a lot more smooth than most bamboo I've tried. Let's see. Okay, it is a little clingier than even the wood. It's definitely clingier than the plastic. It's still not as clingy as some of the other bamboo hooks I've tried. It's not impossible to work with. I could probably use these, especially for like alpaca and silk, which never want to stay on the hook. So yeah, it's usable. And for people who prefer a bamboo hook, this is probably a good option. It does have that nice shape, so it gets into the stitches better when you're not using cotton. And it's a really good price, actually. Return pass is going fairly well. I like to try to test them on both a forward and return pass because there are some chips that, because of how they're positioned, only become a problem when you do one pass or the other. But I haven't found any chips in any of the ones I've tested yet, so that's good. Pretty light. I can weigh them, I guess, but I'm not sure how useful that would be, because each size obviously is going to weigh a different amount. It's slightly lighter than the acrylic, which is surprising to me. It could also just be the connector, and obviously since bamboo is a natural material, it's possible that some might weigh a little more than others. Let's go with the ginger next. This one has like a really nice feel to it. I do really enjoy holding this one. It's partially just how well polished the wood is, I think. But it's also got a really nice balance to it. I don't know. I hope I like this one because I would like to buy more of them. But I am a little, and we'll see. I'm just a little concerned about the throat on this one. Hopefully it is as well polished as the others. So far no issues, but like I said, sometimes the return pass reveals issues, the forward pass does not. It is pretty smooth. For those curious why my hooks keep rolling away, my desk is one of those tables where half of it folds out, so there's like a seam right about here. So the desk tilts a little bit and everything always falls off it constantly. It's very annoying. Alright, the return pass. Okay, I'm not having any issues. I guess it's not a chip, it's just like a trick of the light and the way the grain looks. Which is very good. I did not want it to be a chip, obviously. Alright. That was not bad at all. I like that. And finally, we've got the Symphony, which, again, I have not seen any sellers of in the United States. If you do buy it from overseas though, you can always get the double-ended one, which I love using the little double-ended ones for making hats. So that would actually be a pretty good option. Okay. Let's see. No issues so far. Pretty smooth. As expected, it does grip the yarn a little more than the acrylic one does, but way less than the bamboo. And I think the ginger gripped a little more than this. Not by much, but just a tiny bit. Now I have seen some people online who have been saying that KnitPicks is the same company as Knit Pro and Knitter's Pride as well. I have not found anything that actually indicates that is true. I have seen some indications that perhaps their interchangeable sets are made by the same factories, in which case the connectors are compatible. So I'm going to try out the connector on my interchangeable KnitPicks hook just to find out for sure if they are interchangeable. Okay, that was good. That no chips or anything. That worked really well. Okay, so these are actually all not bad at all. Like, the quality control is significantly better than I thought it would be, other than the weird printing issue on the connector. So, KnitPicks Radiant, I believe. Yeah. And this is a 16-inch Knitter's Pride. They're the same, like the Knitter's Pride and the Knit Pro ones. I just bought a set of Knitter's Pride because they were in the United States, so it would come faster. Okay. And yeah, the cords are completely compatible. So that's kind of cool. If you already have KnitPicks cords, or you already have Knitter's Pride cords, you can use the same cords. That's pretty. I have a massive set of KnitPicks cords, so if I knew that I could use those, I would not have bought another set. Alright, cool. And again, the hook shape is way different on the KnitPicks hook. Come on, focus, thank you. It's a lot more rounded. It works fine, it's just a little harder to get into the stitches. Okay, so I'm going to flip the camera around and I'm just going to give you a few final thoughts. Alright, so hopefully that was at least a little helpful for you to see the different options that Knitter's Pride and Knit Pro have. I do have a few just end remarks. My first thought is that I do really wish that they would have the size etched into the connector and not printed on the hook, because I am really sure that's going to rub off. Maybe not for everybody, but for me it definitely will. Second, I wish that I could get the Trendz in the United States. I will happily import them. I think I want a whole set of these, but they don't even sell these as a set. They only sell them individually. Which brings me to my next thought, the sets. They do have a lot of different sets for most of these. The Dreamz set is the one I see most often. I think it is the most common in the United States. The bamboo set's pretty common as well. The ginger set is significantly more expensive than the other sets, but it seems to have extra stuff with it, like as a pen, and it might have more cords or it's definitely a fancier case. I don't know, it looks pretty cool. I do really like the ginger ones. I haven't decided yet though if I want a full set, and I will tell you why. I don't really use sizes below 5.5 millimeter, ever. I have a very, very tight gauge, so even for like those crochet socks that I just made, that I posted on Instagram, they're supposed to use like a 4mm hook, I believe. I used a 5.5mm, and they're still quite tight, and the gauge worked up fine. So for me, a small hook isn't very useful. If I buy a full set, I have all those little hooks, and I'm paying for those as well. There's also the fact that I mostly want these sets so I can work in the round, which means hook, cord, second hook of the same size, ideally the same color. Those are just the first two I picked up. All of the sets are one of each size, so I would then have to go and either buy a second set or buy an individual hook of each of the sizes I want. So it probably makes more sense, since I also already have a whole bunch of cords that will apparently work for these, to just buy 2 of each size that I want and call that my set. In the long run, it will probably be more expensive than an actual set, because it's usually more expensive to buy individual hooks than a full set. But again, a full set does not have 2 of each of the sizes I want. So that is something to consider. If you are going to be working in the round a lot as opposed to working flat, and you're going to need 2 hooks of each size, you might not want to buy a set. You might want to only buy the sizes you need. Beyond that, these are pretty good hooks. I have no particular issues with any of them. I didn't find any chips. I didn't find any particularly rough patches where the yarn caught or anything like that. Even the bamboo one was pretty smooth, which surprised me. So if you like a specific design of them or are looking for a particular material, I have no problem recommending these to anyone who wants to try them out. I was not paid to do this review. I bought all of these with my own money, so you can't assume that I'm biased in that regard. I paid for all of them, and I waited for them to all arrive. It took a long time. I think that's about it. I'm going to have a couple more review videos coming out soon. I do have some other stuff to review from a couple different brands. I'm still waiting on some of it to arrive, but it is really pretty looking, so I'm excited. I'm still deciding what I want for my final set of Tunisian crochet hooks, so we do have more Tunisian crochet hooks coming. I hope that you are interested in them. Hope you have a great weekend. Bye.